All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about a project called The Day We Left Earth. Now, this isn't your typical sci-fi epic about, escaping a dying planet or anything like that. It's really an exploration of this deeply human desire, one that gets to the heart of a pretty fundamental question about what we decide to hold on to when everything else is gone.
And this is it. This is the question that really drives the whole story. I mean, think about it. What if the finality of loss just wasn't so final? What if technology could give us another way?
The creator really puts it perfectly right here. This is not about spaceships and aliens. It's an emotional journey. It's about that deep, gut-level, universal feeling of refusing to let go of the connections that make us who we are.
So, to really get what this world is about, we've got to wrap our heads around a core concept. The project introduces a whole new way of thinking about existence, one that goes way beyond the simple ideas of just life and death.
Okay, this is super important. The goal here is not immortality. It's not about just living forever. It's about continuity. It's this idea that you can take the essence of your relationships, your memories, your loved ones, and carry them forward, even after our physical bodies are gone. It's about the connection, not just, the existence.
And this is where things get really fascinating, where this world just redefines our basic concepts. Memory becomes a literal place you can go and visit. Your identity isn't just one single thing anymore. It's this collection of stored experiences, all layered on top of each other. The past doesn't just fade away. It becomes an archive you can actually access.
But here's the thing. This huge futuristic idea, it doesn't just come out of thin air or from some sci-fi novel. It's actually rooted in an incredibly personal place. So to understand the heart of this story, we really need to meet its creator.
And this quote right here, it hits the nail on the head. This isn't just some made-up tale. It's the creator's own life, his own fears, his own hopes, all projected through the lens of what might one day actually be possible.
And this timeline, it just grounds the entire project. You can see the journey, right? From discovering music as a kid to joining the Air Force and writing some of the very songs for this project while stationed in Germany, all the way to coming home and eventually meeting and marrying his wife, Sarah. It's this life, this love that he feels is worth fighting to hold on to.
So, for years, this was just an idea, a concept. But then reality started catching up. He's watching real-world tech advance, stuff like Neuralink mapping a chimp's brain or CRISPR editing our genes, and suddenly the science fiction started to feel a lot more like science fact. And get this, even the album itself was made using AI tools like Suno and 11 Labs, which makes that blend of human experience and technology feel very, very real.
Which brings us right to the emotional core of this whole thing, a conflict that didn't start in some fictional world, but in a real conversation between the creator, Justin, and his wife, Sarah.
Yep, it all started with just this one question, a late-night thought experiment that ended up revealing this fundamental difference at how they saw the future, how they saw love, and really what it even means to be human.
And their conversation just laid it all out. You had these two totally different perspectives. Justin was driven by this powerful desire to preserve their connection, beyond death, and he saw technology as the way to do it. But Sarah, she saw the exact opposite. She was afraid that by uploading her consciousness, she would lose the very thing that makes her human, the very thing that makes their love meaningful in the first place.
So the real conflict, you see, it's not about whether the technology works. It's so much deeper than that. It becomes this massive ethical and emotional dilemma. Just because we can live on forever, does that mean we should?
And this deeply personal disagreement becomes the dramatic fuel for the entire project, which plays out over a 6-chapter narrative as a musical album and a film concept.
So here's how the story unfolds. It kicks off with Justin making the choice to upload his consciousness. That leads to conflict, not just with the authorities, but with Sarah. He actually leaves, but he comes back, and they end up spending years in hiding as the world outside just collapses. Finally, an aging Sarah agrees to do it. They leave Earth, and they begin this new kind of existence, learning how to navigate their shared consciousness, sifting through memories, almost like flipping channels on a TV.
And this is their ultimate discovery. In this new digital existence, their love doesn't just survive, it actually evolves. They find a totally new kind of intimacy, one where they can even connect with loved ones they've lost through these preserved memories. Love isn't lost, it multiplies.
All right, so as we start to wrap up, let's pull back and circle back to the project's bigger themes and what it's really trying to say about our world right now.
And if you're trying to get a feel for the vibe of this thing, it helps to think of other stories. This is not some loud, action-packed sci-fi movie. It's much more like Her or After Yang.
It's philosophical, it's intimate, and it's way more focused on emotion and memory than it is on big spectacle.
And this quote from the director's statement, I think it just captures the intent perfectly. The goal isn't to give you all the answers, it's to make you feel something. To have you just sit with these really complicated ideas about love and loss and what comes next.
And this is probably why this story feels so incredibly relevant right now. In a world that is just full of anxiety, where technology is changing literally everything about our lives, this quiet little story poses this huge question. When we look to the future, what are the things, what are the connections that are truly worth saving?
And at the end of the day, the whole project leaves us with this final, lingering thought. If we could hold on to everything and everyone, would we ever actually learn how to let go? And maybe more importantly, should we? It's a question with no easy answer, and, well, that's exactly the point.